Welcome to the Jolly Roger. My name's Chef Brian, and today we're going to be making a pasta, but we're using potatoes, and it is called gnocchi. So I have 2 russet potatoes because 1 potato makes quite a bit of pasta, so I'm going to do 2. We're going to poke holes on our potatoes, and I've already done the smaller one, so we're just going to go through. And this just helps to let that moisture that's inside the potato have a way of releasing without cracking the skin. That's what I like to do for baked potatoes and stuff. But I have an oven behind me set at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. And these are gonna cook anywhere from about 45 to 60 minutes. And then I'll show you what the process to do when we get that done. So, bring you back in a minute. For me, it's gonna be an hour. Boom, we're back. It was an hour and 5 minutes for these potatoes. They were a little bit bigger. We just pulled them out. I did a knife test. You wanna make sure that the knife goes in easily, and that tells you that your potatoes are done. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna peel these potatoes now. And if you just have a wet rag, or not a wet rag, don't use wet. If you just have a rag, that works perfectly fine. So we'll just put that on top. And if you wanna let these cool, you're more than welcome to do that. But we're just gonna slide in and then take our knife, and we're just gonna peel this skin off. Got a cut started. And this application is the correct way of doing it. If you wanted to, you can peel the potatoes first, cut them, and then boil them, but you're gonna get excess water with that, so you're gonna use a lot more flour if you use that shortcut method. But this is actually the correct method on how to do these. So I'm gonna get these all taken care of, and then I'll bring you back in just a moment. There we go, a little cut there. We're just gonna peel back, and these are not, the skin's not hot, it's the inside that's hot. So just be careful with this part right here. So I'll show you what we do when I get done peeling. So I went ahead and cut our potatoes. They're gonna go into what's called a potato ricer. This is just gonna, basically looks like rice when it comes out, and it's just gonna give a smoother texture to these, to the gnocchi. So we're gonna run through. I'm gonna take our potato, drop her in, and this just squeezes out, just like that. We're gonna do that to all of our potatoes. Sorry about that, that was loud. And once we get that done, we're gonna let these cool out just for a little bit, and then I'm gonna mix in an egg yolk, and then we can start mixing in our flour. And then we can start making our dough. So, this is an easy process. And if you don't have a potato ricer, what I would use is a hand mixer, or if you have a stand mixer, even better. And just go through and break up your potatoes that way. But a ricer really helps out. Another thing that restaurants use, it's a tamari, I think is how you pronounce it. It's like a real fine mesh strainer, and it's circular, and it's on top, and it's a screen, and you basically run it through with a bench scraper, and that also gets it extremely smooth, and that's better than a potato ricer. But I don't have one of those, and those are kind of not fun to use. Potato ricer makes it a lot more quick. All right, we're gonna let these cool out for about 5 minutes because we're gonna be using our hands, and this is extremely hot, and I don't wanna get burned. So, we'll see you in just a minute. Our potatoes have rested. They're still slightly warm, but they're not bad at all. Plus, using a metal bowl, that transfers a lot of heat out. So what I have here is I just have 1 egg yolk. We're gonna drop her in, and then just mix this as thoroughly as possible. And I like to do it in the bowl. We're gonna dump it out here in a minute, and we're gonna start adding in our flour. But the bowl just kind of makes it a little easier, I think. And once we get it mixed through, we put some flour out on our workbench and drop her out. And that's good. We're gonna mix it the rest of the way on the workbench. So we're gonna use quite a bit of flour doing this. So we're gonna need a little bit. Drop out our dough. And we still have quite a bit of moisture with this, so we're gonna be using more than a cup of flour for this. And Move that to the side. Take our bench scraper. Take some more flour. Go over top. And then I'm gonna use like a chopping, folding method until we can get a decent amount of our dough to come together. And then I'll start using my hands and knead it a little bit. But it's kind of just a chop and then fold on top of each other, push down. And we're gonna keep doing this. And I'm gonna put some flour on my hands. Helps the dough not to stick to yourself. Yeah. This is looking good. And like I said, it's not too hot. We let it sit for about 5 minutes. But this is gonna take quite a bit of flour. Potatoes have a lot of moisture. And that was another reason that we poke holes in our potatoes, is to help that moisture draw out. Matter of fact, we were baking them and I heard some whistling. And I was like, oh, the potatoes are screaming in the oven. But I thought it was funny. Oh, coming together really nice. And what we're looking for when this dough is done, we're gonna need more flour because it's still sticky. But you just want it to slightly dimple, but I can feel it. It's starting to, still sticky. Starting to stick to my hands, so we're gonna take a little bit more flour and just keep kneading until we don't feel that stickiness anymore. So as I'm kneading this dough, I'm feeling the reaction of it and whether it sticks to my hand or not. And you're gonna think after you just put flour on it that it's perfectly fine, that you're good to go. But as you work it, that moisture is still in those potatoes and it's gonna make it feel like kind of like a pasty type. It'll stick to you a little bit. So that's why I keep adding flour. Still got that pasty. It sticks to my hand just like that. So we're just gonna keep adding flour until we don't feel that anymore. We're done. We got a nice smooth ball of dough and that's what we're looking for. And it's not tacky. There's a little bit of tack, but not much at all. So I'm gonna clean up and we're gonna start rolling these out. We have our dough. I just dusted our little work surface off with a little bit of flour. We're gonna take a portion of this dough and we're gonna roll these logs basically. So we're gonna take our dough. You start in the middle and work your hands out like this. And that's gonna get an even spreadness because we're looking to go about, let's say, 1/4 of an inch in diameter. And if you do have a little bit of stickage, just throw a little bit of flour down. But we're gonna roll this out and it's pulling back on me because we developed gluten with the flour. So it's just gonna take a little bit of time for that to relax. And if you need to, you can let your dough rest for a good 10 minutes before getting to this part. All right, got it down to the thickness I want. I like this look. And what we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you one and then I'm gonna do the rest of the dough off camera. But we got our bench scraper here, so I'm gonna do about that size right there, and we're just gonna go down the line. And we're gonna cut little bitty pieces out, about equal size, and then we're gonna roll them up in a ball. And then I have what's called a gnocchi board. You don't have to have a gnocchi board. You can do this with the back of a fork, but this little board has ridges on it. It goes up and down like that. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our gnocchi and push gently down. And that gives a little bit of ridge for our sauce to collect and also a little on the inside. And that's gnocchi right there. So I'm gonna get these done. I'll show you one more. But we put our board down and we're gonna push with our tip of our thumb and it's gonna roll off. And if it sticks to this board, add flour to it and that will help it from sticking. So one more. Rolling it into a circle. Take the side of your thumb. We're gonna push down. It's gonna draw that board and we're gonna let it fall off. And that is the shape of our gnocchi. So I'm gonna get the rest of this dough done. We got everything done with Lynn's help, of course. I'm assuming most of you don't have a gnocchi board. You don't have to go out and buy one. They make it a little bit nicer. But if you just take the back of your fork and push down like that, you can get some nice ribs. And then that will be your gnocchi. And you just do it. It makes it a little bit easier. but it also, you know, you get your ridges, makes it look nice on a plate too. So you don't have to have a gnocchi board, is what I'm getting across. And we're gonna clean up, and I'm gonna get a pot of boiling water going, and then we'll cook these off, and I'll show you how that process. So I have a pot of boiling water right now. We're gonna go ahead and salt it like we do normal pasta. It's good right there. It's probably about a tablespoon and a half. I have quite a bit of water in here. Now, we're gonna dump on our gnocchi, and this is only gonna take just a couple of minutes. As soon as they come to the surface, that means they're done. I'm gonna scoop them out and put them in what's called an ice bath. It just immediately kills the cooking process because we're gonna use this in our Friday video, and I want them to be cooked perfectly. So, the easiest way that I'm gonna try to get these in, let's shake it up, just to get them moving. There we go. That looks easier. And you don't want them touching when they're sitting out because they're gonna stick to each other, but there we are. Now, just fall in, please. That hurt. A little stir. As soon as they float, they're done. Should have used a smaller sheep tray. That's what I should have done. Oh well. Didn't get hurt. But you see how they're coming up to the top and then they're floating? We'll want a little bit more and I'll start grabbing them out. Sweet. All right. I'm gonna go in, pull them out, immediately put them in the ice bath. Looking good. Well, there you have it. That's homemade gnocchi. Hope you liked it. Hope you give it a try. I love making pasta. I think it's fun. And we're gonna do a Tuscan chicken gnocchi dish on Friday. So come back and see that. And hope you like, share, comment, subscribe. And don't forget, put a comment down what you want us to make. And we'll do a drawing at the end of the month. Y'all take care. Done.